Kia.
NBA Summer League Hoops is back Monday. A long game from Salt Lake City between the Grizz and Jazz, 9 Eastern. And for our Mountain teams, Mountain Time, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, ESPN2 and the ESPN app. Woo! Welcome back. The Jump Free Agency Special. You see that clock in the corner above us. We are less than 2 minutes away from the opening of free agency. Look, I had a pretty straight face when I said that.
We really need to move free agency after the draft. I mean, before the draft.
Right. Well, that is a question we will talk about later in the show about whether we should make some major moves to the NBA calendar. But really, what are we about to see, Brian, as this cascade is about to hit us when supposedly it's 2 minutes or less, about 1.5 minutes from when teams can even start talking to other players, and yet magically, by telepathy, what is about to happen?
Well, there's probably going to be, I would say in the next hour, we will probably hear reports of somewhere in the neighborhood of $500 million in contracts, maybe probably more. The top players, you know, we don't know what's going to happen with Kawhi. Jimmy Butler is still a question mark. But we're going to see a ton of people come off the board very, very quickly here. I think you'll see Utah add to their team. They're lining up Bojan Bogdanovic. They could close that deal soon. I think you'll see the Indiana Pacers lock in their replacement for Darren Collison with Ricky Rubio pretty soon. I think you'll see moves happen with Dallas. You'll see moves happen, really with a lot of the teams that aren't chasing the top-level free agents that are locking things in. I think we'll see that coming immediately from Woj within the next 15 seconds.
Which makes it so much more pressure-filled that Kawhi Leonard and the big guys on the board haven't announced their decision.
7, 6, 5, 4.
Oh, you're so excited.
2.
I'm going to be tough.
1.
I'm going to be tough on this.
Welcome, NBA fans, to the official start of free agency. We are, okay, so maybe we've set off some sprinklers in the studio. Toughen up, Amino Hassan.
I know, I'm decided to be tough about this.
This is a 5-hour show.
This is an OSHA violation, is what it is.
Look, we are about to hear all sorts of things. We will be updating you as these tweets start to come in. Amina, somebody who has worked in a front office, look, we are seeing people who have already made their decision. If we can scroll up for me here, we are going with Woj reporting, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, even DeAndre. Durant is 4 years, $164 million. Kyrie, 4 years, $141 million. The Nets already won that jackpot. Chris Middleton expected to head back to Milwaukee for 5 years, $178 million. According to Adrian Wojnarowski, the deal Chris Middleton would sign for the Bucks would now be 5 years, $178, which saves the Bucks $12 million from the $190 million reported earlier. Isn't that nice, right? Saving them $12 million. There we go. We also know that Boston is interested in a 3-team sign and trade with Kyrie to the Nets, Kemba Walker to the Celtics, Terry Rozier to the Hornets. So far, talks are developing there. How does this influence D'Angelo Russell's free agency? Is he going to be part of a sign and trade, or is he going to be released? Al Horford returning to Boston, not out of the question, and yet there's been a lot of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, right? Look, we don't know where Al Horford's going to go, and this just in, of course, Woj reporting that Durant did meet with Bob Myers along with Rich Kleiman in New york to give the news that he is leaving Golden State for Brooklyn. Guys, by the way, the phones are being passed around the desk. There's JJ Redick news you were trying to give me as I was reading from there. Go for it. Want to announce, please?
Get it ready, Rachel.
All right, you ready? Yep. According to Woj, JJ Redick has agreed to a 2-year, $26.5 million deal to join the New Orleans Pelicans.
Whoa! Congratulations to JJ Redick.
There's
something
actual falling from the ceiling.
So is that just the biggest surprise?
That is the first surprise we have coming off the board. We hadn't heard that coming. Takes the Pelicans out of the race for Al Horford, which is also one of the big names still left. Also, Philadelphia loses one of their key players here. Philadelphia with 3 free agents. Tobias Harris, no longer J.J. Redick, and obviously Jimmy Butler. Philadelphia now pivoting potentially to Al Horford. Al Horford, an opportunity for Philadelphia if they don't bring back Butler and Harris.
That's amazing. That's like the one guy who's been the thorn in their side. Is like, how do you can't beat him? What do you do? Sign him, right?
Sign him, right? There you go.
But the J.J. Redick loss is huge because we know Philadelphia really flourished when they had spacers on the floor. And
Absolutely.
The less spacers there were, the more congested it was. And one of their favorite actions was the pin-down action between Embiid and J.J. Redick, because J.J. Redick is so good at the little pocket pass. That was a very devastating thing. So they're going to have to replace that somehow. Getting Horford is nice, but you got to get another shooter who can approximate, maybe not as good as J.J. Redick, but something, a poor man's version.
Also, getting him on a 2-year deal. He's 33, 34 years old.
You'd think he'd be looking for that long-term
especially
security.
coming out of the gate. In all honesty, it's a vote of confidence in the Pelicans by JJ. It's not a marquee market. He didn't get a long-term deal.
Speak for yourself. I love New Orleans.
Well, I'm sorry to say it's not a marquee market. And really, he says it's a vote of JJ believing in Zion Williamson.
And again, David Griffin, right? We keep saying your front office is such an advantage here. David is someone who has these relationships all around the league. We see it at trade deadline time. We saw it this spring with the trades he was able to work out around the draft. And we are seeing it now with J.J. Redick as well, someone he's known for a long time. Now, both JJ and Al Horford are strong locker room presences. These are vet guys you want around your young guys. I think that's another key in New Orleans, is that JJ is going to be a great influence on those younger players. With Al Horford, that has been one of the mysteries of free agency. I mean, I'm joking about where in the world is Carmen Sandiego with Al Horford, but I kind of would like to know this. When he opted out of Boston, or the reports were that he decided that he was not going to do the deal that we expected with Boston.
Right.
I should have my terminology exactly right. Were you as surprised as the rest of us were? And also, do you think there's any chance they could get rekindled?
Well, no, I wasn't surprised that he opted out, because we talk about often. You say, oh, he's going to make it $30 million next year. Why would he opt out of that? Because you can guarantee yourself $100 million, which is better to have rather than just the 30. But I thought at first when they said the Celtics thing is over, it's a hell of a leverage play, right? Mm-hmm. You tell Danny Ainge, guess what? Whatever deal you were thinking about, turns out I've got a mystery team over here that's offering that much. Now, Boston moving forward, going on with the Kemba Walker thing, kind of makes me say that they've moved on from retaining Horford. So then now you hope, if you're Al Horford, the mystery team wasn't just a bluff or a leverage ploy, that there's an actual place. And we know that there's interest from Dallas. We know there's interest from the Clippers. And oh, here we go. Okay, I thought you guys were setting me up.
No. We do know, though, as you just mentioned, the Kemba Walker deal. And in fact, he has decided to sign a 4-year, $141 max contract with the Celtics. Jeff Schwartz telling ESPN, this is interesting to me on a couple levels, including that he traveled up to Boston, Woj reported, again, before anyone was officially allowed to talk about anything. By the way, the Hornets, not really officially, it's not an extension, it's a free agent. The Hornets weren't supposed to be able to have talks with him either. All of this is a little bit...
Let's suspend disbelief on all this stuff.
All of this
Forget about it. They moved it to 6 o'clock to do us a favor to have this instead. We could be doing it at midnight. The interesting thing about this is that it looks like the Hornets are going to replace Kemba with Terry Rozier.
Yes.
And so it leaves open the possibility, from what I'm told, an $18 million a year deal for Terry Rozier, which is huge money.
I mean,
the way the Hornets have handled this is not ideal. That said, they are going to try to salvage it. And the Celtics and Hornets can do business with each other on a sign and trade with Rozier and Kemba Walker.
Can I get on a soapbox here for a second?
Just a minute, because I got Derrick Rose news.
Okay, give me Derrick Rose news. Okay. And then I'm going to get on soapbox.
By the way, Terry Rozier with the all-time great line on ESPN after his season was over, saying that his year in Boston was like going from the front seat to